You're welcome back to the League of the Genuine once again. This is the only show on the planet where we discuss the issues surrounding the menace of counterfeits. For a change, we are out of our usual setting. We are right in the offices of the Uganda National Examinations Board here in Ntinda, and we have a special guest, the Public Relations Officer, Madam Jennifer Kalule
Musamba.
Musamba. You are welcome to the show.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be part of the show, and thank you for giving us the opportunity.
We're very happy that you've managed to take time off your busy schedule
to
talk about this big issue of counterfeits. But we would like to know, as you name, you do the assessments for PLE, for UCE, and the Advanced Certificate of Education, and you do the certification. Do you have a counterfeit problem as an examination board?
Oh yes, we do have a counterfeit problem, and that is one of the things that it's the biggest price basically. The whole idea about when you talk about examination of malpractice, when we fighting examination malpractice, basically we are fighting counterfeits. Why? Because examination malpractice in most cases it manifests in different ways. There's what we call leakage, where the actual paper may leak to the candidates and they get it before the examination starts. We've managed to control that by and large. However, there is what we call currently what goes on around on social media, where people share the fake papers. They know they cannot get the actual paper, so they get something which they think which looks more is. Like we got a case of somebody who got some two past papers, 2020, 2020, 2022, and he superimposed the cover page, put there 2023. So he was sharing on social media, on TikTok, Geography 1, say this is the Geography paper that's coming, Geography paper 2. So he gets the timetable, and then he kind of fakes and shares the fake papers. That is basically counterfeits. And for us, that is really dangerous because in the minds of the people out there, our learners, the teachers, the candidates, they think, they've been believing him. He's been having so many followers. They were believing actually that it was an actual paper until later on they realized whatever he was showing them was fake. So to answer your question, yes, we do have counterfeit problems in
Okay,
assessment.
So help us to understand what kind of counterfeits or malpractice do you have? Because you've just described an example of somebody superimposing on a paper of 2022 and then saying it's 2023. So does that mean that the only counterfeits you have in exams are those where they forge? You don't have an actual leakage of the actual paper of 2023? Do you have those cases?
As a board, we have been able to control that because, like, for instance, our theme is integrity and security in the management of examinations is a joint responsibility. So we do our best. We try our level best to ensure that the security of examinations is guaranteed, to ensure that the integrity of the people that we do work with, at least within the board. So for as long as the paper is still within our premises or within our control, I can guarantee there's no leakage.
So a parent who is listening now should not be worried that the exam of their child who sits a UNEP paper will be cancelled because it leaked.
Because
that is
leaked.
Reduced or is not there.
That is controlled. However, where we get challenges, now we will get people who think that they have the counterfeit. Usually you find that after briefing, for instance, you're not supposed to teach the candidates. People get the counterfeits, they wake up the candidates maybe in the middle of the night and they're going to teach them, telling them Geography paper is coming tomorrow, this is what is coming. And then in the next day the paper, it comes, the candidate is like, this is the wrong paper, simply because they did not know their mind was erased, which is really bad because that disorganizes the learners. They kind of they lose their own they lose their own integrity, but also they lose trust in what they have actually studied or learned. So you find that somebody who thinks that this is the actual paper, they are going to cram everything here, and then they're not going to take. They won't even remember.
So they'll
anything.
be disoriented. But how since the exams are sat at the same time countrywide? How do you ensure that the distribution is not interfered with of the examination papers? How does a paper which
from
lives
UNEB.
move from UNEB because you don't have branches. Somebody is in Kisoro
Yes.
or Kotido is going to sit your exam at 9. How do you ensure that you move it from Kampala to arrive on time for the student in Kotido and Kampala to sit at the same time?
Okay, that's a very good question. We have a clear network of distribution. First and foremost, I want to start, even before we distribute, then we have what we call the security printing. The printing of examination papers is done within. We have a state-of-the-art printery. And
Your own?
Our own printery. The people who are printing are held incommunicado in the printery for over 60 days. From September till now, they do not have
60
phones.
days?
Yes. So we make
They don't go home?
They do not go home. You live going home. They don't even have watches, phones, nothing. They do not. I am the one who communicates with their families. Why? Security
60
of
days
examinations.
of printing the exams.
Yes,
They are
for the
in
time we are
communicado.
printing. So those are the people who are inside there. It is only the Mr. Dan Odon, the ED, and Director Examinations, Mr. Nangosia, who go in there, they check on them, and then they determine, let's say, a paper which is going to come out tomorrow or whatever, or maybe next week, because we distribute them on a weekly basis. So they are the only ones who know the actual paper that is going to come out. But they're incommunicado in there. The rest of us who are outside, we just know the timetable and know that tomorrow is this day, and they are doing biology, they are doing agriculture principles. That is all that we know. That's why I want to assure the public about the security of the UNEP examinations.
So why don't you give this information out there? You just say that you've had a young man on TikTok or whatever saying here is the examination paper. The reason why people are duped and are paying for these papers, believing them to be the examination paper, is because they don't know about your security features. If they knew, they would not buy.
Yeah, like you said, security features. Some of
I mean,
the
the security measures.
Yes, we try to tell them, but also there's a limit to how far you also need to tell them. So because there also it also has security implications, you know. You also don't need to tell everybody.
Giving the information that UNEB will never ever release a paper. Nobody will know about the paper until it's given to be written.
Actually, for us, the candidate is our primary stakeholder. And until the candidate, actually, as far as we are concerned, the candidate should be the first person to look at this paper at the prescribed time. The UNEP examinations are done in a location which is a market, which is an examination center. It is gazetted for examinations at a particular time. If it is 9 o'clock, the candidate should be the first person to look at the script, at this paper at that time. At such a day, like you say, today is, if today is 25th, the candidate should look at the paper at 9 o'clock. They should be the first clients. Anyone who sees the actual paper before that, that is a malpractice. So even within us, so what happens that I did not come with some of the envelopes, the security envelopes that we use. I was taking you through the distribution chain. So now from there, after the security printing and everything, they've done the distribution, they've allocated. We usually pay a lot of emphasis on registration data. Registration data is what we use as a basis for the distribution.
People's names, class, school.
So you know, District X has 1,000 schools, and in this school X, these are the number of candidates doing this sub. Now, like let's say like UCA, different candidates are doing different subjects. So we get to know who is doing what, and we pack them accordingly. So we have metallic boxes that are in the printer, and they pack them so they know this is the route. Let's say the western route. Western route can have Masaka, Barara, the schools along that belt. Then you have the central route. So our distributors begin moving over the weekend, like on Saturday, depending on the routes. So they will move. Now we have stations at the police stations, the main stations at every police station. Let's say Masaka is station 00, I don't know the stations offhand, 005, let's say. It's station 005. At that station, we have a police person, we have a military person, we have somebody we call the area supervisor, who is the head teacher in that area, and then we have our chief scout, who is going to go with the keys. Now, this station, so they are going to go, the person who is distributing is going to distribute for the different routes. So they can leave station 5, leave the box there for the subjects of the week. Like this week, for instance, we are having different subjects, history, biology, chemistry, and all that. For all those papers, for those schools are left there for that week. You continue to another station, another station. Now, the people, we have two people, the military person who has the keys to the, it's a container. They have the keys to the container, and another one is the scout who has another key to the container, the bigger container. Another set of people have the keys to the boxes. So we're talking about 4 people.
Of the individual exam.
Boxes.
So if you're going to do now like PLE, it will take place for 2 days in November. So do you send for each day exams for that day?
No, we send for at once, because PLE is
So how is the security of those exams when they are on the ground?
Yes, so you're going to have the box there. So you're going to have this is a box which has mathematics, for instance. Another one has English. Another one has SST. Another one has science. So the box is not opened until it's time for the timetable.
And who is in charge of guarding it?
That's where I was coming to. We have 4 people. There are 4 different keys. 2 people have the keys for the outer container. Another 2 people have the keys for the inner box. Now the 4 of you have got to connive and accept and agree to meet, say, at the hour of midnight. And there's also local police guarding you, keeping guard. There's a military police, there's a chief scout, there's an area supervisor, and another person who takes the unit key, the keys. So you all have to agree to meet at midnight. The 2 of us who have the keys for the container open the container, and the 2 of you have the keys for the inner box, also open that box.
So you're making it so difficult.
Extremely.
But then why
difficult.
do we still have examination leakages?
I said we do not have a leakage. We are controlling the leakage. However, we have other forms of malpractice, like that one of the vending of the fake papers. And then we have impersonation. Of late, like last year, we had many cases of impersonation increasing. Why? Because now they realize they can no longer get the actual paper, so they're trying to get other means. Impersonation now is a very serious offense. Reason being, it involves...
How is it done?
Yes, we realize that it involves the head teachers themselves. Because now we are very strict. Remember our certificates have, we personalize them. We put the pictures of the candidates. So what happens with most teachers, they will register 2 candidates. Jennifer is a senior 5 bright candidate. I already have my results. I don't need these results of senior 4. However, Jennifer is going to sit for Muwema. So both Muwema and Jennifer will be registered. In the examination room, you're going to have, let's say, 52 candidates. Yet actually, you have 51 candidates, because Muwema is sitting just for the sake of sitting. So you're going to find Muwema will put Jennifer's name on his paper, and Jennifer's index number, and you put my index number. Such that at the end of the day, it will appear, you never realize that, oh, we had Muwema got 001, then, oh, Jennifer performed quite well. It's Muwema who wrote Jennifer's papers. So impersonation is something we're trying to fight, and we are training our scouts out there to be very vigilant. So we've got the albums, whereby you have the album, you have to look at the album, you have to look
at the picture.
Yes, the album for the
so
candidates.
So you take pictures of the
candidates. The schools send them to us before. The albums. So we ask them to, when you're registering candidates, so you have the album of all the candidates, and then we do the sitting arrangements and know who is going to sit near who. They also give us the sitting arrangements, so we know who's going to be sitting near who, who's going to be, then we look at the signatures, look at the IDs or something like that. My point is, because we are tightening on leakage, now they're coming up with so many
They're innovating other ways.
They're innovating other ways.
So what is the role of the invigilator of ensuring that impersonation doesn't take place?
That is what's supposed to be their role. They're supposed to be monitoring. Look at the album, come and look at Jennifer, and look and say, is this your name? Is this your ID? We're usually very keen on, usually you find at such a time, you find candidates who have new identity cards. And you're like, you've been studying here for 4 years. How come your ID is quite new? So we should have, your ID should be old after 4 years or a year or so. But it's a very fresh ID. You're like, there's something. So there are some pointers we look at. And so we expect them to look at the candidates. Now, like for instance, we had a case on day one and day 2 in some school, that is for geography and I think for mathematics. The candidates allegedly forgot their index numbers. So one was writing the other's index number in the morning, in the afternoon, and the following day. I'm like, that is a case of malpractice. And then we don't allow people using erasable pens, because people can write erasable pens and say, please, and the other thing we do, we make sure the candidates write their names on the papers even before the paper begins, just to make sure that, you know, you write Jennifer Kalule on your script, it's going to be Jennifer Kalule to the end.
You write before the time begins. You distribute the papers for them to write.
The answer sheets, so they write.
Oh.
And
so you are able to verify.
You are able to verify. And then also we don't allow them to use erasable pens, because afterwards they can erase Jennifer Kalule and write somebody else's name as well. So in the classroom, okay, in the examination room, that is where we need to tighten, and that is where external assistance also happens. It's also another strong form of malpractice, whereby when the examination papers reach, there's one copy for the school. You know, you have 65 candidates, so your neighbor will give you 66 copies of the examination paper. One is for the school, for the record. And you see the paper, and then the teachers are like, okay, they make the answers very quickly, you know, and then they try and bring them into the examination room to assist the candidates.
So as we close this segment, do we have an examination malpractice problem, a big one? Is it small? Is it medium? Are we at crisis level?
I wouldn't say we're at crisis level. By and large, as a board, we have managed to control the leakage, which I said is the worst form of malpractice, because that one would basically compromise the quality of our and the quality of our certificates. And I always tell people, no, why we say it's a joint responsibility, it does not matter when you got your certificate. We have one assessment body in this country. So if we have malpractice in 2023 and your certificate is a 1982 certificate, as long as it is a UNEP certificate, the quality of your certificate is also affected. That's why we want everybody to come aboard. So we are trying to control. I can't say we have a crisis, because the people that we have that are trying to masquerade and do the fraudstering, trying to share the fake papers, we are working with the police closely, and they are getting them. And we are preaching the gospel of integrity. You people are also helping us. The media is doing a great job. So we think that along the way we should be able to control.
We may be able to erase it.
To
eventually.
erase it to an extent. At least that, you know, that very critical one.
Okay, let's take a break. We are back with the second segment. This is the League of the Genuine Conversations. We are here in the Uganda National Examinations Board. I believe most of you viewers out there, you have had the tension of sitting a UNEB exam. We are here asking them what is their view about counterfeiting in the education sector. And we are with the PRO here. Jennifer, you've done well to describe the vice of the malpractice. Can you just walk us through who are the main perpetrators? The candidate, okay, we start with the parent, the candidate, the teachers, your staff, the invigilators, the police, whoever. Who are the main perpetrators of this vice?
Well, it is a cocktail, but at the end of the day, the biggest victim is the candidate who has no paper at all, who is struggling to get their first certificate or second certificate that they need badly, and the rest who are perpetrating in all these actually have their own papers, which is the worst. And that is why now in the NEP Act 2021, we made it very clear that all the perpetrators, all those who aid malpractice, all those who support candidates to access illegally possession of what is supposed to be in a paper are culpable. So who are the main perpetrators? Depending really on how it is. Look at, let's say at PLE level, the candidates are really innocent, honestly.
They are young.
It's either their parents, their teachers, or somebody around, the elder around them. Now the schools are into this. By the time for malpractice to effectively take place, the school has to be involved. The head teachers have to be involved in most cases. They may not know, but the school, somewhere in the school has to be involved. We have cases like impersonation, for instance, like I said earlier. The school is involved at registration stage. Then we have external assistance. External assistance takes place in the examination room. The paper has arrived, and the teachers or whoever, or the invigilator, who is a teacher who has been authorized by UNEP to go and supervise exams on behalf of UNEP, but along the way they are compromised. Maybe they've given them whatever they've given them, they are compromised, and now they are willing to support this candidate, or they are willing to let a teacher, a geography teacher, for instance, write the answers and then sneak them into the examination room. That is why we have supervision, we have the scouts, close supervision. And that's why we always get those candidates. If we do not get you at the examination room stage, later on the examiners are likely to get you. Our examiners are so keen. They pay attention to detail. I have been in the what we call the security committee tribunals, where the candidates have got to come and defend themselves. They bring the question papers, and then they're asked, well, did you write this question, this in your paper? Yes, it is mine. Did you write this answer? Yes, I did. And so they take you through. Some of them, like at primary school level, you find that maybe the candidates have written their correct answers, and then somebody sneaked in a piece of paper which had answers which had been interchanged. The answer to number 1 was put to number 2, number 3, number 4.
But the handwriting, can't you tell the handwriting?
Okay,
how do you sneak? If I have written the answer, the biggest lake is Lake Victoria. How do you put Lake Choga for me?
No, you're going to sneak in and then say, I can see and write on my question, on my answer sheet.
No, I'm saying when you sneak, if this is what I wrote.
You sneak in little papers. You say, number 2 answer this, number 3 answer this, number 4 answer is this.
Okay.
So somebody may miswrite, instead of writing the answer for number 2, write the answer for number 3. We've had such cases. So the poor candidates end up writing, cancelling the correct answers, and then they write the wrong answers. We had a whole sentence, I think about the other year, where one of the answers was supposed to be, I think the question was about give a form of identification for Uganda. So they were giving the answer as passport. And then the other question was give one of the ethnic groupings in Uganda, Nile Hamites. So they interchanged and they put passport where it's supposed to be Nile Hamites, and Nile Hamites were supposed to be passport. And the entire class all cancelling and putting, and then the trend goes on number 1, number 2 until number 10. I mean, any examiner would get those ones. So there we have the teachers. Now, when that happens, we invite the candidates to come and defend themselves in a tribunal. Some of them defend themselves. Someone may tell you, this question came in a mock paper, so we did it. And you're like, okay, actually the mock paper is here, so it wasn't a malpractice, the prior knowledge. But there are those where it's glaring that it's actually malpractice. English composition, where the kids, the teachers, for instance, the English teachers, and really please do not disorganize them, our thinking, the thinking of our children. They make them cram a question and answer if this kind of question comes, and then they all give the same composition in the same way, in the same
diction, the same text.
And strong words you don't use ordinarily, you just know that is a malpractice. So who is involved and at what level? I must say mainly we have malpractice at primary school level. I think because PLE determines a lot. Every parent wants their child to pass well and go to the next good school, because at that school, it determines what commission you're going to do. Later, it determines if you're going to be able to go to government for government sponsorship and the course you're going to do. So PLE is a high-stake examination. We also have
there's more malpractice in PLE, more than UCE and USCE.
USCE is hard, USCE a little bit, but PLE is a high-stake examination. We also have many private stakeholders. If you realize when results are released for PLE, almost the TVs do not have any other business to do. They are basically talking about, which schools got how many 4s, how many 5s, and all that. And parents tend to think that when a school has many 4s, it is a good school. So it is a marketing strategy for the schools, for the private schools. And then other than that, it's also a high-stake examination, because the parents know that now next my child can go to the so-called first-class schools of this world. So that's what happens at PLE. We have many malpractice cases at PLE because it's a high-stake examination. It sets the boundary.
To go to the next important level.
Yes.
So is the malpractice reducing, increasing at the same level? Or is it
actually stagnating? It's reducing. Even the number of because when the ED is releasing results at each level, you realize that they'll say this year we are withholding results, or those who are suspected to have been involved in malpractice. The number is reduced. It used to be in 2000, like at PLE or something like that. Now it's reducing. Not yet there.
2,000 in the whole country. the malpractice, exams cancelled and so on.
Yeah, at one level like UCE or even at.
But now it's what?
It's reducing to about 1,000, and yeah, so we are hoping that we can have less and less cases of malpractice and withheld results. It's very painful when your child's results have been withheld. And remember like PLE, we released PLE in January. The tribunal sits around March, April. This candidate is disorganized, disoriented, they can't do anything, you are on tension until you appear for the tribunal to defend yourself, and at times the results are cancelled. Like this year, the senior 4 candidates, they are the last cohort of the last curriculum. Usually when we cancel results, we encourage them to repeat. Now this year, there's no option for repeating. So I really do not want to hear any senior 4 candidate having been involved in malpractice, because it's a high stake.
You'll be doomed forever. But Jennifer, help us here. We have a tendency, and many parents have this tendency of saying that a child must pass and get distinction 1 or get 4 at all costs. As the Uganda National Examination Board, what are you telling the parent who thinks like that a child must get 4, must get distinction 1?
Actually, that brings me to the other stakeholder in malpractice. The other stakeholder in malpractice are the parents. They usually ask them for facilitation fee for your name. That fee you are paying, facilitation fee for your name, ideally, they are telling you, we are hoping to get somebody to help us access a fake paper.
Who asks for facilitation fee for your name? Yeah,
Schools
so blame the schools, not the parents.
The parents, why ask facilitation? We paid registration. Why are you paying facilitation fee? You tell me that you want to feed the kids well, and this is the amount you're going to be feeding the kids. But they usually quote facilitation fee, maybe 100 or whatever, and the parents pay it willingly. Even this boy, but like you said, because the parents want their children to pass, if anybody gave them anything that is said to be in a paper, they would willingly pay for it. This boy who was sharing stuff on social media, he said parents were calling him and asking him, please send us, please share this, please tell us, just because
parents were asking.
Yes, that's what the boy has confessed. So for the parents, we want to ask kindly, it is not a life and death. Our NAEB examination is just like any other. We want to assess the level of achievement for these learners. We want to see, they've been studying for these 7 years. How much have they gained? How much are they able to comprehend? What are their competencies? What have they acquired? So once you facilitate a malpractice, then we will not know how much they've actually achieved. Eventually, somebody is going to presumably get 4, and then they'll go to a school where they cannot actually even sustain the levels there. And then either you've got to sustain the malpractice till the end, which you actually cannot do. So eventually, you're going to have people come into the field allegedly doing whatever course they're supposed to be doing, yet actually they are not able to do that. They don't have the competency to do that. So I want to appeal to you, kindly let our learners be able to show the actual achievement so they can be able to to branch into the area where they are most competent.
To handle.
To handle, yeah.
My question is, I've been looking at your law here, the UNEB Act 2021. And my question is, isn't it an examination malpractice to market examination results of a school, my school, then I go and publish, I take a full page, for us we got 91st grade. Isn't that an examination malpractice? Seeing as Section 26 here defines examination malpractice to be to include the giving of information in respect of an exam without lawful authority. I don't know if UNEB authorizes St. Teresa to go and take out a full page to publish those results and say we got this first grade. Is that marketing tool and publication an examination malpractice, according to you? Well, do you authorize that publication?
When you talk about, let's say we have the Access to Information, the Access to Information Act, which would maybe where that category would be. But you see, the results of St. Teresa are not. UNEP has actually released these results. They belong to the candidates, and the parents can say we consented. These are our children's results.
In this sense, St. Teresa had 200 P7 candidates. But you know what St. Teresa does? It only publishes the first grade. We got 60 first grade. They don't publish the second grade, the third grade, the fourth grade. So you're talking of stigmatizing and torturing the other children who have not been published as if they don't exist. And that is a misrepresentation of how St. Teresa performed. Because you should publish everything and say, we got to fourth grade, they were 10. Third grade, they publish the full results. Why do you selectively misrepresent and only put first grade because you want people to bring their children to you? In that case, in that sense, is that a malpractice?
Your point. It is something that has troubled us at the board, and at one time we thought we would recommend that we stop publishing these, even these TV shows. I don't know how many got further and everything. But you see, this is a liberal economy. They've gone to the editor of newspaper X, who maybe will decide. Even me, when I issue press releases, the editor edits, and they decide what content to put in the story. Now they will say maybe we gave in the full, but then the editor edited and they gave only the first 60 ones. So, but my point, well, I hear you loud and clear. It is a tricky situation. It is a policy situation. It's a policy issue, and as a board, we do not have even the mandate to stop them from publishing.
And what happens if St. Teresa publishes 90 first grades? Because they publish as soon as results come out. And later you go through scrutiny and you appear before the board and they cancel some 10. They would have published a false, because they've already published.
But usually by the time, if you have malpractice cases, the ones we suspect, we do not release them. Those are the ones whose results are withheld.
Okay.
Although you may find that St. Teresa has 60 candidates, but then we withhold results of 10 candidates who maybe we think were cheating, were copying from each other or something like that. Or at least the whole center, like where it's glaring that the whole center was involved in malpractice. So it depends, there are various dynamics to this. But yes, that is something that it's a whole system issue which UNEP alone cannot handle. Because first of all, they are freely going to the private media houses, who also need to this.
They are making money.
They are making money.
This is
it's
part,
a liberal economy.
This is part of the commercialization of education. Does UNEP support commercialization of education?
UNEP issues examination centers to schools that have been authorized by the Ministry of Education. So for you to come and get a center for UNEP, to apply for a UNEP examination center, you must have a Ministry of Education number. In other words, it's the Ministry of Education which issues. So if they think that a Ministry of Education, if Ministry of Education thinks that you're actually doing a good job, that there's need to have a school in this place, and you have what it takes to have a private school there, they go ahead and then they give you the license. And then you come to UNEP to receive an examination center number. So in other words, as a board, we have no authority to refuse giving you a center number as long as you have the requirements that we need for you to have a center number. Okay,
as we end this segment, have you done any public outreach engagements with parents? Does UNEP, like for example, have a forum? You see, like schools have PT and so on. Is there a forum where UNEP for parents, for whatever, where you address them? Because you're speaking so well, and there's a lot people don't know. Okay, those who made so. Do you have those public outreach programs? And you have a session with parents and tell them, look.
Maybe that is something that we can think about and see how we can be able to engage with the parents. But we try as much as possible to create awareness in the media when they are releasing the various statements before examinations, because we know everybody is releasing to the ED, releasing the examinations or releasing the timetable, commissioning and all that. I think, we're not so directly with parents directly, but I think we'll see how we can be able to work with the likes of you and be more proactive in doing it.
Let's take a break. Welcome to the third and last segment. We are here talking about counterfeits in education, specifically from a UNEP perspective. Here with us is the PRO, Jennifer Kalule Musamba. So far you're doing a good job. But
thank you.
What is the impact of these counterfeits, these malpractices in examinations on the country? Is it an important thing or we should ignore it?
Thank you so much. It is a very grave impact. It has a grave impact on the country. Fortunately, we've managed to control it, so it's not going out of hand. But if we do not control it, it will go out of hand. First and foremost, what the mission of UNEB is to conduct valid, reliable, equitable, and equal assessment of learners' achievements. Now, the validity of the examination, that is more or less the curriculum. There it is valid. Reliability. Once we have a malpractice, then the reliability of the examination is doubted. What this means that with no one, it means that candidate X is going to have prior knowledge or is going to have a higher advantage by accessing the paper or by being helped to answer the questions, and the other 10 candidates will not have equal access. So already it's not a reliable paper, because you're saying how, first of all, once if there's a leakage, then how reliable is that paper? So we try to make sure that our papers are reliable. That's why we are controlling the leakage very much. Validly reliable,
the faking,
and the faking and the faging. Then the equitable, meaning everybody should equitably access the same paper at the same time. That's why we make sure, and that is why for us, when a candidate arrives at a center more than 15 minutes late, we are suspicious. We do not allow you to enter the examination because we think you've had some, some advantage,
improper dealing
access or something like that. So we do not allow you to access the examination paper if it's like more than 15 minutes. We had a case yesterday, one of the practicals, where a candidate appeared. It was a very weird experience. And we appeared like in the afternoon to do a paper for a second shift or something like that. So we do not allow that kind of thing. Why? What equitable access? At the same time, you are saying we make sure we have stations in every locality. So we make sure exams begin at 9 o'clock almost in every center of the country. Where we have equity, where we have some challenges, maybe with the transport or something like that, 15 minutes or later on, because thereafter it will become a past paper. UNEB deals in current papers, not in past papers. That's the equitable assessment we're talking about. So yes, malpractice affects the credibility of our certificates, because at the end of the day, UNEB does assessment for the issuance of certificates, which should be internationally recognized. Now, as a country, if the credibility of our certificates is doubtable, then we shall not have international recognition. By the grace of God, no one has ever presented a UNEB certificate anywhere on the globe, and it was rejected. What they ask for is verification. As long as UNEB affirms and confirms that yes, those are your results, and we verify, people get jobs anywhere, they will access any university on the globe. However, if we continue having cases of malpractice, then the credibility of our certificates is going to be doubtable. So malpractice compromises the credibility, the reliability of our assessment system, the entire education system, and indeed all the certificates for all of us. Like I said, we have only one assessment body in this country. So
and the whole economy is driven by this, because there is no sector of the economy, there is no profession of the economy that does not have professionals or people working in it who did not sit your exam. So if we have malpractice in your examination, then we're going to have fake doctors, fake lawyers, fake engineers. So it has a far-reaching
implications. But if somebody out there is going to doubt a UNEB certificate, then everybody is going to be affected.
What is do you have incidents of faking, counterfeiting of your certificates? Is it also there?
Oh yes, they do. They do. And
they fake your certificates? From
some road in town here. They fake them. We got them. At one time we got them. Yeah, we've reduced it because now we have our ears on the ground. But there are two places where they are faked from. Actually, I can actually say them because they told us how they do it. They do it from both Nasa Road and some house. I've forgotten what the house is in town. There are two places where they do them. But we try to get them, and that is why we talk about verification. Now, most organizations, when they are employing people, they ask for a letter of verification. So we always ask employers or even the politicians. That's why we hear politicians saying that they have fake papers. That is part of the process. And now the Election Act talks about a politician presenting a paper, presenting certificate, original certificate. Now, for you who is not your name, we may not know which one is original, which one is not original. You may think something is original, yet actually it is fake. So we have what we call verification of results. As a board, you can bring the certificate and you ask us to verify, and we will issue a letter of verification just to make sure we do not have counterfeits out there. So yes, they do lots of counterfeits.
So what
out
are you
there.
doing to check the faking of your certificates? Are you prosecuting guys? Are you arresting?
Oh yes, it is an offense in the act. We are prosecuting them, and it's kind of gone down. And you see the thing, we do not go. We haven't been able to. We don't go out there to look for those people, something like that. But usually it's either somebody who has been or who has been wronged, or they let us know. We have a Whistleblowers Act. Somebody may let us know that so this person, like the case we knew we had sometime the last case we had about. It was a whistleblower who gave us information about these two places. Yeah, it is, I think, City Hall or a place in town where they do the counters.
And sometimes you get the information during the election time.
During the election
when people
time.
go to Electoral Commission and say, I finished P7, I did this, they cross-check and find it is fake.
The other ones, we also had the people who used to go abroad for these jobs, like in the United Arab Emirates. Now, fortunately, they no longer allow them to go unless UNEP has verified. So that, in a way, is helping us to minimize, because those were the outlets, those were the would-be users or the fake certificates. But now they always ask them for verification, and we do it through Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So we're trying to work with agencies, different government agencies, to minimize the counterfeit in that area.
We would like to know whether UNEB is only interested in the quality of the exam set or is also interested in the quality of the product, the graduate. Because in the job market, we have a big challenge. A lot of the UNEB graduates, they are not employable. They don't have, but they passed your exams and then they come in the market and it's a problem. They don't have the skills which are supposed to appear, the practical skills, the ability to, and that is a form of faking, if you like. The labor market is saying, you're not giving us products that are useful. Is that one of your areas you're looking at?
One thing about UNEB is that we come in at the tail end of an exam, of a year, let's say of a cycle. We assess learners at the end of a cycle. Now it's kind of like a tripartite arrangement. We have National Curriculum Development Center, which develops the curriculum, and then it gives UNEP to make the assessment guide or the examinations. Then we have the Ministry of Education in charge of all, the Ministry of Education in charge of the quality, the education sector. And
yeah,
all
but
that.
you do an assessment at the end, and
Yes.
you say Fred is the best. Okay, you don't
Yes,
do for
yes, yes,
university,
yes,
but you say Fred is the best in agriculture, for example, as a subject. He got a distinction. So you produce me, and I'm employed in a farm or whatever, and then I start mixing chemicals and faking.
From here,
the
you're
seed.
going to university, you're going to another level. My point is, it's a joint responsibility, ideally. This is something
Because
that
there are people who stop at S4 and they're
It is
employed.
well. Yeah, that's okay.
There are people who stop at S6. But what I'm saying is that there is an outcry on competence levels. I know you're changing the curriculum and so on. Is UNEP concerned with the quality of the graduates, or it just stops at setting an exam? Once you buy.
Of course, we are concerned with the quality of the graduates, and that is why I'm saying one is a tripartite. It's a collective responsibility, and we are part and parcel of advocating for the new curriculum change. Why? The new curriculum is going to look at the competencies of the learner. It's going to look at the various skills, their critical thinking ways. So, in the new curriculum, we are not going to be asking them generic things, okay, maybe things. Actually, I think even malpractice is going to go down, because they're going to create scenario cases whereby someone has got to critically think through and give an answer.
So they are not subjective answers.
They are going to be subjective
so you've got to think,
yes, to
be
think
creative,
through.
and
so use the knowledge that you have, the information that you have, to critically think around this problem and see how you're going to solve the problem. So ideally, we expect to have more learners who are more problem solving
skills.
Yeah,
Okay.
They have the skills, they have the connection skills, they have the critical thinking skills, then you have the competencies. Maybe, and that's why we have subjects like PE, which are coming back for assessment. you have food and nutrition, practical things. So we think maybe somebody may not be good in this kind of in the subjective thinking, but also they are good in the in the practical thing, in the practical things. They have a competency somewhere. Maybe you are working as a team, and for you, I have a competence in presenting, but then for you, I have the competence in writing the good composition, which you're going to present as a group. So you're trying to promote the team spirit among these learners, and we hope that eventually they are going to come out to be all round. So yes, UNEB is concerned, but the point is UNEB can't do it alone. It is a collective responsibility.
Collective effort. Which subjects experience most examination malpractice?
I think it depends on the level. I'll just give an example of the ongoing UC examinations. We saw attempts in mathematics. Usually the first 2 weeks of UNEB examinations are the high-stake examinations. Why? Because they are compulsory papers. So we have the compulsory papers of the mathematics, geography, history, and all that. And we saw attempts by head teachers to try and give external assistance to candidates using for mathematics. We saw that also in history. Also there was some bit of history, but also even in the chemistry practicals. So I don't know, I think it's all the compulsory papers ideally. Compulsory papers.
There is higher
yes,
potential for malpractice.
Yeah, these first 2 weeks, the high potential for malpractice. The next 2 weeks where we have the optional subjects, you have building construction, you have literature and English, entrepreneurship, clothing, textiles, Latin languages, and all that. Because once somebody has failed the first two, the other compulsory ones, then these ones will not help much. So the appetite for malpractice at that level is slightly low. And then for PLA, I think it's everything ideally, but usually I think it's math and English. I think math and science, I don't know. Math and science, I think, for PLA.
I was looking at some reports, and it shows that the incidence of counterfeiting malpractice in examination is more in the gender of the male gender than the female gender. What is the situation with UNEB exams? Who is outdoing the other in malpractice? The girls, the boys?
I'll be very honest with you. That is not something I'm trying to look at. You see, that's not something we've actually assessed, or if we have, we've not really done that. But now that you talk about it, in this next set, because when we have results which have been withheld, they come for a tribunal or something like that. I'm going to be looking at, because I think it's 50-50, honestly. I can't really say that the girls or the boys are involved more really. Crudely speaking.
But which gender is sitting more exams? Do we have more boys sitting exams or more girls?
Well, it depends. At PLE this year, it's too close to call. PLE right now, to PLE this year, we have 52% are girls, and 48 for whatever are boys. At UCE, it's too close to call. It is 50 point something. It's 50 point something. They can say 51 to 49. That is where it is. Then where 51 are ladies, are female, and 49 are males. Actually, for UCE, it's too close, 50 point
So basically, the boy child has been. We are only talking about the girl child.
No, it's too close to call.
But it means the girls are going to overtake the boy, and very soon we need to do a campaign for the boy child again. Having done one for 30 years for the girl child.
At USCE, we have more males sitting for the examination and fewer girls. Actually, the percentage is really low. It's about 32% of the girls, and then the other percentage is for the boys. However, for the subjects or for the papers where the girls do sit examinations, they excel. We have few sitting, but where they
you
actually
say that
sit,
because you're a girl.
No,
so,
yeah,
is it fact or fiction?
No,
we have
fact.
fake news these days. Is that real or fake?
No, it is
the
clear
girls are
in
excelling.
Mr. Odongo's statements. The girls excel in the subjects where they sit. So yes, we have fewer. The ratio is going down. UPLE we have slightly more girls. At UCE it's more is 50%, and then at USC then we have more boys going at that level. And we think mainly because maybe the girls now branch into the other courses. They do, they go into the nursing courses. They go into many tailoring and many other courses, which are vocational courses. Although we've not done a study.
And where are we seeing more counterfeits or malpractice? In science exams or arts exams?
Again, I think it's both really. It's high stake for both of them really, depending. Like I said, you've seen the mathematics and you've seen in the chemistry practicals. I mean, not chemistry, the science practicals. They've been doing lots of malpractice there because they have to send them the advanced instructions, which are telling them, prepare this, make sure you have all this around. Now, a brilliant chemistry teacher can add 1 and 2 together and say, you may be saying we prepare this chemical XYZ. You may be likely to bring XYZ. So we've been having cases of malpractice in science subjects, whereby you find that somebody maybe, I was at a center and there was an orange and they were supposed to cut the orange and then give the answers. Then you see somebody writing answers and the orange is not cut. So like, number 2 is supposed to be first cut the orange first and then you give the answers. So you're busy answering all the questions, they've not dissected the orange. Oh, that is something I experienced just this week. So that shows that that gives some indication that there's a malpractice somewhere where they can, and actually in our act we call it, I think in our guidelines, it's a form of malpractice whereby candidates write answers to practical questions without doing the practical exercise. So in science, because science is more, because we have to send the advanced instructions to the teachers to prepare. So it kind of makes there's a high chance, you can add 1 and 2 together and you play around with these learners and everything. So we've been seeing many cases of malpractice in science subjects, especially the practicals and less in the theory. But by and large, I think malpractice happens in both the science and the arts subjects.
Okay. What is the the role of the pressure from the population? We have a very high population growth rate. In the region, ours is the highest at 3.2% per year. Kenya just does 1.9. So we are very busy.
They're just lazy.
They are lazy. So do you think that having less children being born, and is it putting pressure on the education system and the examination? Do you see a relationship between population increase and increase in malpractice, exam malpractice?
Yes, in a way there is, because the more we have many children, then we have many private schools, and the more we have many private schools, it means they have to compete for these learners. So that's why you see in the morning there's a lot of traffic jam. All of us are bringing our children to school X in Kampala, but at the home where we are coming from, there are schools out there. So yes, the population fight definitely has a, there's an underlying.
There's a relationship.
Yeah, there's a relationship in one way or the other. Because that's the reason why we have the many private schools, and then they also have to, and eventually they have to compete for these children, for these learners, and because of the high competition, we all want to get the 4s, we all want to get the good grades, we all want to get to the good schools and be able to do these courses. So one thing leads to another. I think they are.
Okay. Lastly, Jennifer, many people don't think fighting counterfeits is an important issue. They think that is the government work. Your message to the audience, why is it important for all of us to fight counterfeits in whatever form they present? Okay. Your message.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, I want to appeal to everybody. For us, and here at the board, we always talk about joint responsibility. Most of the things that we are suffering basically is because somebody did not do their role, did not do their work. But if everybody does their role, if everybody makes their own contribution, if everybody, let's say whoever is supposed to be checking the quality of the products that we are taking, that we are consuming, does their bit, and then you who is selling does the same thing, then we will not have the counterfeits. However, everybody needs to be aware that the counterfeits are dangerous in whichever form. For us in examinations, like I said, we have the counterfeits really lead to malpractice, which basically compromises the quality of our certificates and the entire education sector. But even in other products, I'll talk to the fellow ladies, for instance, with some of those of us who use lipstick. There's some lipstick you use and it's like, it's hot, it's like burning. You're like, but it's the same, looks like the same brand name or something like that. Now, I don't know what's going to come out of that. So all those counterfeits could be in the oils that we use, the foods that we eat, even if it's, I'm imagining maybe even if it's the detergents we use for soap or something like so, whichever way. The counterfeits are dangerous for our lives, dangerous for our health, dangerous for our children, and even the environment. So if you have a role to play, please try to control not the malpractice, okay, the counterfeit in any way. Let's do our roles. let's make
go
sure.
for genuine.
Let's go for genuine products. If you can't access the genuine products, some of them are quite costly. That's also the other thing.
Yeah, of course it's an issue, but what is the cost to your life?
That's the thing.
Imagine you put
And your lips
lipstick which
can end
has
up
heavy
burning,
metals and
you know.
the diseases which will come out of that. But Jennifer,
So,
thank you so much, first
thank
of
you
all,
so
for
much for the
hosting us
opportunity.
here
Thank you.
in UNEB. We have left satisfied that we have the best examination, assessment and certification center
Great.
in the region, I'm sure. I didn't know how stringent the process was in making sure there's no leakage, but I think you're doing a good job, and you must let the parents know. Those who are trying to look for leaked examination papers, it's a no with UNEB. That kind of faking is not available.
You will get a counterfeit, but then at the same time in our act, even accessing the unauthorized access to what is purported to be a UNEB paper is an offense.
A crime.
Yes.
Okay.
And the whatever's are quite high.
Yeah,
it's not worth your life.
I've seen 5 years. I've
5
seen
to 10 years, yeah.
5 to 10 years. So, okay, so that has been the League of the Genuine Conversations out of the Uganda National Examinations Board Center here in Ntinda, Kampala. We have just had a beautiful conversation here with the Public Relations Officer, Mrs. Jennifer Kalule Musamba.
Thanks for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, and we would like to sign off by inviting UNEB to join the campaign against counterfeits in all forms, because
would gladly be part of it.
Yes,
would
because
want to do that.
your students who are writing the exams are also consumers of other products, just as you yourselves, the examiners and the people who set the exam. So we would like to thank the audience as usual who make a date with us every Friday to be a part of this important conversation about counterfeits. If you like what we are doing, this is the only show on the planet where we discuss the important but often ignored subject of counterfeits. We'd ask you to subscribe, to share, and remember to put the notification to be reminded of our next program. Until then, don't be fake, buy and sell genuine.
Bye-bye. Thank you.